How are you? It's freaking intense energies for me. I don't know who else is going through this. What is it? The Friday the 10th of February. We're going through some intense times. I just wanted to speak on something that's really huge for me. I'm doing this 5-day breathwork challenge with the breathwork I spoke about on the last session or whatever with Brian Kelly. And it's to the point that I'm getting emotional just thinking about the process and thinking about before I've even done the work, all this stuff is showing up. And it's exposing some stuff that I'm not really comfortable with, I'm not really feeling good about, and not really loving. But underneath it, one of the key steps that's discussed is, and I've talked about this before, about self-responsibility, and now I'm talking about radical self-responsibility. So taking responsibility for everything in our lives. I didn't used to think I was a creator in the ways I do now, and I'm just looking at my thoughts and my beliefs and stuff that's not working out, and stories that are replaying, and the frigging bullies that I have that I've welcomed into my life to keep me small. So let's just start there. So radical self-responsibility, step one, is what are the bullies that are in your life that you feel that you have no control over, that they get to choose, they get to whatever. So I'm going to start with some of them. And this might be emotional, I'm going to let you know now. But so what are some of the bullies? So some of the bullies are responsibilities I have. Okay, well, I have to be a good dad, and this is how a good dad looks. For example, I spend time with my kids. I do the best that I can. I don't have a ton of money in my hands at this moment, but that's changing right now. And but it's kind of whipped me and said, "Oh, I'm not a good person, or I'm not meeting my responsibilities, or those kind of things." Another one is banking and credit and all this kind of stuff. We were struggling for survival, so we accepted things and signed things and all that kind of stuff that are against our being, and turned us into slaves and other things. So I'm standing up to those things, but those bullies want to phone you and harass you and do anything they can to make you in fear so that they take your power away. Well, I'm standing up to that. What's other bullies? So there's a big V thing that's been happening in the world as a bully, and I said before that it's taken my business and all this kind of stuff. Well, it was a belief, and based upon a reduction of clients coming in and other things, my IT company or whatever. Another bully is things like social media platforms or whatever. I was on YouTube before, and I was against community standards, and I'm seeing people's channels being removed and all this kind of stuff. They're friggin' bullies. Like, anybody can come in and just smack you in the face and tell you you're bad, and don't even have to tell you why or whatever. Oh, this is the content that caused it or whatever, and make you figure it out, not have some words or something. No, they can just flip a switch and say, hey, you're bad. And it's like, no, those are bullies. So other bullies like money, paying bills, all these kind of things, trying to satisfy the world, trying to be a person that I'm not, trying to make people that are triggered feel safe, or meeting expectations of society around sexuality, around what I talk about, what I teach people, all this kind of stuff. I have people in my life that tell me that I'm too over the top. I have to throttle down or whatever. Well, those same people have that thing that makes that uncomfortable in them, and they prefer to get me to stop or to shut down or suggest that what I'm saying is too strong. And it's kind of captivated me and put me in a cage and said that what I'm saying isn't right and it's dirty or not clean. I speak about sexuality stuff with people all the time because I'm trying to help people free themselves. And there's a lot of people in my life that don't want me to talk about sexuality because it's not comfortable for them. Does that make me wrong or bad? No, I have a gift. I've went through some of this stuff. So what is radical self-responsibility for you? What is the thing that you're feeling a victim to? And I know this is a hard word because I had to admit that I'm a victim yesterday, and I thought I wasn't. But anything that you can say that's outside of you that is making you lesser or feel smaller or not living your life is you being a victim. I'm going to tell you that right now, and it's going to be like a slap across the face. And I'm a victim to not enough money or lack, or I'm a victim to bills and credit and banking and social media platforms. Those same things that I called the bullies are the very things that are beating you up and taking away all your power and keeping you small. Oh, I'm going to hide in the corner because somebody called me names, or our social media platforms are some of the hardest ones to deal with because people can go and troll you and they can call you bad or whatever. You can use it as a mechanism to grow from, or you can use it as a mechanism to shrink and I got to curl up in the corner. I've had some really asshole bullies in my past when I was speaking a lot about sacred sexuality. There's this woman that hated all men, is what all I can say, and she just tried to destroy me. It was her mission, and I was the representative of her ex-husband or the perpetrators to her or whatever, but she wanted to destroy me with words and tell me and call me names, and I even wanted to kind of make amends with her or whatever. But there's people that are just so deeply in their own victim that they want to project it on anybody else. I'm seeing it all over the place. Are you projecting on people? Are you calling them names? Are you smashing them? Are you trying to hurt them? Are you trying to make them stop or whatever? Why are you trying to make them stop? Is it because of a thing inside of you and a fear and then discomfort or whatever? That's radical self-responsibility. Go look at it. I will tell you right now, I friggin' cry probably half an hour a day. If it's not through breath work or whatever, it's just through me going in and feeling what's going on in my body, and there are so many hurts and so many wounds in my body from relationships, from experiences in the world, from not being good enough, from not doing my or self-judgment or whatever, not doing my best, I thought, or whatever. But all I could do in that moment was do what I did. So to sit there and beat myself senseless for no reason gives no value. And how many places are you beating yourself senseless? How many places do you sit during the day? And I have to sit with this right now where I just feel like total shit. Like, oh, a part of me wants to pay my bills. A part of me wants to be a good person. A part of me wants to have a love life and welcome people in that I can. Sorry, the phone clicked in or whatever in the middle of that, but that's the harassment and the bullies that are coming in that I've allowed in, and I uh, don't know why I'm a victim to it or whatever. It's like a part of me wants to comply with the world and be good boy and meet all my expectations and all this kind of stuff. Well, fuck me, I can't meet all those expectations, so that's another bully that's on top. Um, Trying to satisfy the world, trying to pay bills before your living comes in or whatever. That's what the world wants. It would have us be destitute on the street because we accepted credit at some point in our life or whatever. And I'm living with that. At that time, it felt like the right thing, and I feel like uh, I did the right thing, and it sustained me and other things. But now I'm not at a point where I can meet those expectations anymore. And I've spoken to those entities that are at the other end or whatever, and they don't give a flying fuck about you. All they want is to fucking feed and take the money and find a way to steal and lure you into believing that you have to give up all this stuff or whatever. It's fuckery. It's ugly. It's messy. But I became the victim of those things. I allowed them in, and I'm taking my power back. I'm not allowing them in anymore. I'm not allowing that to rule my life. I'm not allowing harassment to happen. I'm not allowing myself to sit in a fucking pool of ugliness and sit and feel ugly and want to cry and want to die sometimes or whatever, because that's what the world that says you're not complying with will do to you. And take radical responsibility and say no more, no fucking more, right here and right now. No fucking more am I going to be harassed or hurt or harm or feel bad or feel the victim. I am not a victim. I have never been a victim. I got lured into being a victim. So radical self-responsibility right here and right now. And whenever I feel like a victim, it's going to pass through me as tears or whatever. And whatever's beneath that is going to be free from this point onwards. So I feel a lot of stuff in my pelvis, in my right hip, in my chest, in my tongue. Uh, One thing I'm going to tell you, if you're feeling victim, or let's say you're crying and you're having the tears and it's how much do you tighten up your throat, and how much do you feel this holding back or this tightness in your chest to try and hold on to this thing that's ugly and messy and feels bad and is a bunch of pain and suffering or whatever. Get your throat open. Let that whine, let that suffering, let that whatever come out in breath and let it go. You don't have to constrict and hold on. A lot of people, when they cry, they sob. I've cried like that before, but there's this tightness. It's like holding on to it. It's like, okay, if I let this all go, I might explode. I might vomit. I might whatever. Let it all go. That's what breathwork has taught me. So be radically self-responsible with yourself. Let the, when you're expressing pain or suffering, don't close your throat. Don't close your chest. Just let it go and let the energy out and feel it. And it's probably in your stomach, in your hips, in your pelvis, in your throat, in your shoulders or whatever. Just sit with it. And let it go. Open your throat wide and relax it. Be radically self-responsible. Where have you fucked up your life? Where have you agreed to stuff to keep yourself small because you just believed it was? Let your mind be gone out of it. Let your body start to say, well, fuck, my body can't stand this anymore, and I'm going to let it go, and I believe it. Breath work will help move this stuff. Breath work teaches you what's in your body, and I love that, and it's showing me so much. So taking radical self-responsibility. If you're a victim and everybody's beating you up and you have no control, no power, no nothing, that's the way the world wants you to be, so that you can be controlled and manipulated and told to do things that you're not supposed to. And you would be surprised, some of the things that are being told you, that the law around credit and banking and all this kind of stuff is bullshit. The other day, they took money from my account without my choice and called it the right of offset. I've never heard of such a thing or whatever, and whether it's law or not, it's fucking illegal by universal law. I have a choice in what I use my money for, and it's just a game. If you believe it and you trust it and they do it, and you have no power over them or whatever, well, I declare the right of offset fucked and bullshit and not existing in my reality, because it's not true. It's against the law, and it's a great universal law, and there'll be grave circumstances going forward. Choose stuff like that. I choose to no longer feel small. I choose to release frustration. I choose to release all the emotion in my body so that I can be free and I can walk in this world as a creator and loving of life. I will admit, to be radically self-responsible, I stopped loving myself. I stopped dreaming. I stopped all these things at a point in my life because I didn't feel anything was working out. Everything failed. Everything did not come the way I wanted. The relationships didn't work out. Women wanted to harm me, and I wanted to run away, and all these kind of things, because I drew those things in. I did not feel worthy. I did not feel safe. I did not feel comfortable. I have changed those things. I now feel safe. I feel comfortable in my body. I love myself. Do you love yourself? What's the things that you can do to love yourself more? Put your hand on your chest and send love into it. Just be radically self-responsible. What is not working out for you? Why do you feel messy? Why do you feel ugly? Why do you feel small? Ask yourself those questions. Open yourself. I hear guidance from my guides. Ask yourself that. And I allow all my birthright and all my power to return to me now. I return healthy relationships.